Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to this edition of Balance in Life. I am so excited for this topic. It is so timely and needed for me today. We're going to talk about spring cleaning and decluttering and get some tips and strategies. We'll go a little bit room by room and we just grab what we need because what we'll hear a little bit more about and what we do know is that for many of us, it's really hard to have clarity of thought and clarity of mind when we are in a space that feels disorganized and in a disarray around us. So I am happy for this session today. I'm Crystal Tyler Mackey, happy to welcome you on behalf of Virginia Cooperative Extension and the Human Development Program team and our partners in the Balance in Life series, North Carolina Cooperative Extension. On today and any other day, we are a pretty active group in our chat box, so feel free to engage in conversation there. Just know that when you post in the chat, the only people who can see your responses, if you do nothing, are myself, my co-host Bethany, and our speaker today, Twangelo Max Brown. If you want others to see your welcome, your question, your comment, just choose on the three dots, the drop-down menu, and post to all panelists and all attendees. We hope that you will do that and engage in this conversation as we move forward. The 30 minutes goes quickly, but as she is pulling up her screen, I just want to welcome our good friend and our colleague, Twangelo Max Brown, who serves as Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Agent in one of our local offices, actually where I started my extension career in the great city of Richmond. So I'm going to turn things over and sit back and take notes. Welcome, Twandra.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I'm going to share my screen now. Hopefully everything will go well with that. Okay, so if you look around this morning, it's a beautiful spring morning. So spring is here, and it's time for us to what? Clear the clutter, right? Ooh, a little technical difficulty. Okay. So let me ask you this question. Do any of these statements sound like you? You keep every bill, every receipt, every financial statement because you don't know when it's safe to get rid of it? Or can you never find anything that you put away? And your spare bedrooms, closets, and basement are full with junk that you don't even know how to tackle. And you want less clutter, but you just can't figure out where to even start. Is one type of clutter driving you crazy? Could be shoes, clothes, accessories, things in the kitchen like dishes, pots, and pans, and the dreadful paper stuff like bills, magazines, and mail, and yes, obituaries. Because I find that a lot of times when folks ask me to help organize something, they come with a whole bunch of obituaries that they've saved for years and years. But toys also can become clutter, especially when they get broken and you hold on to them instead of throwing them away. And then we have our old-fashioned knickknacks and whatnots and those types of things that collect dust as well. Or is everything that you have bothering you? So those are some things to think about.
Twandra.
Yes.
They have posted in the chat already. It is everything. This is describing my world right now. Just all of the above. Yes, toys, receipts, all of it, Twandra.
Yeah. And sometimes we find ourselves just, holding on to things. And I think the main thing is we think that we may need it at some point in time. And we just go on and hold on to it. But we got to kind of get out of that way of thinking and think a little bit more clutter-free. Some reasons that you want to get rid of clutter is because it could be potentially a safety hazard. When you collect things, sometimes even your, I guess you could say your walkways in your home become cluttered. That becomes a hazard, and it obstructs your living and your style of living. It can become a health hazard because when you have clutter, a lot of times it collects dust and mites. And if you have upper respiratory problems, that could also affect you with having all that dust around. If you could, it could cause depression and anxiety because if you get up and look around and you see a bunch of stuff and you just don't know what to do with it, you don't know where to start, you start beginning to become anxious and you just say, forget it, I don't know what to do with it. It could also possibly cause infestation. A lot of times when we collect things, we put them in bags and paper boxes and things of that nature. Those bags usually come from the grocery store and the boxes do as well. And usually they're kept in warehouses and could potentially bring some form of infestation into your house if you continue to hold on to it that way. And one of the worst things is that you could possibly become a hoarder. And sometimes that hoarder stuff creeps up on you and you don't even know it. And you look around one day and you say, oh my goodness, I'm collecting this, I'm collecting that, I'm holding on to this, I'm holding on to that. So you just have to let go. And if, believe it or not, every day we probably spend time looking for something because it's not where it's supposed to be. So those are some of the reasons that you want to become clutter-free. So to get started, you probably want to use one of the most simple or one of the organization tactics that will take as less effort as possible. So you want to start with one room at a time. And in that room, you want to use maybe some bins, some bags and boxes to separate your items. And the stuff that you put in boxes, you usually want to throw that away because you want to get rid of as much paper as you can. And you might want to, if it's overwhelming to you, you might just want to say, today I'm going to work on this room for a couple of hours. And then every day you just gnaw away at it. And then before you know it, you finish one room. It might take you a week, but if you keep going in there every day and tackling a little bit at a time or every weekend, then eventually you'll have that room cleared. So for each of your needs, you'll have a garbage or trash container for broken or worn out items or some things that are empty. I don't know why we hold on to empty bottles and empty jars and things of that nature. You might have a recycling box or bin, a shredding box or bin. You might want to donate some of the items that are in good condition or haven't been used that much to some organization or give it away. You might want to have a yard sale or consign some items. You might even find some items that need to be laundered or sent to the cleaners. And then you have your items that you want to keep. So those are the types of organization tools you'll use in order to start kind of clearing away stuff and getting rid of stuff. So one of the places that gets cluttered is our kitchen and dining area. And that is definitely one of the areas that can potentially become a safety hazard if you don't clear some of the things away. Are any of these things in your spaces, such as unused or damaged pots and pans? Sometimes the handle might fall off or something, and we'll still go on and put it on the stove and use it, knowing that you don't have anything but a pot holder to pick that pan up with, and there's no handle on it, so it could potentially drop on your legs or in the floor and splatter you and burn you. So things like that you need to think about when you're holding on to broken items. Baking dishes or pans, containers. Oh, this is my pet peeve. I hate containers that don't have tops or tops that don't have bottoms. So that is one of my main things that I try my best to get rid of, because I don't know, why are we holding on to stuff that they don't have tops or bottoms? Are we going to eventually find a top from somewhere? I don't know, but nonetheless, those are some things we need to get rid of. Damaged utensils or broken or unused gadgets, tableware that's chipped, or cracked, or that we don't even use. If you have something that's chipped or cracked, even if you have it stacked with your dishes that are in the cabinet that are good, when you're pulling out your dishes and have to lift something, if it's chipped or cracked, it could cut your hand, especially if you have plates that are stacked. So that's potentially a hazard. Tablecloths, candles, placemats. Sometimes we just, every season we get something and use it for that season and put it away. And then next year we see something else we want and we pick that up, especially during holidays when we have all of the holiday decorations out. So you might want to go through some of those things and consider getting rid of it. And everyone has the infamous junk drawer in the kitchen where you put keys, batteries, ink pens. My husband is famous for going to conferences and bringing back all of these ink pens. He has a nightstand that's filled with them. He has a top drawer that's filled with them, and he has them in the kitchen. So when he pulls one out and it doesn't work, he throws it right back in the drawer. When I pull one out and it doesn't work, I throw it in the trash can. So those are things we have to remember, because why are we collecting a bunch of ink pens that don't work? And you need to check your spices and your canned goods or non-perishables to make sure that the date hasn't expired on them, because those things also need to be gotten rid of because they're taking up space and causing your kitchen to be cluttered. Once you've decided what you're going to keep, you want to categorize and organize those items. Store them in a cabinet, in drawers, or in your dining room storage. And this is also where bins can be helpful. So you might want to put some of the kitchen items in storage bins in your pantry, or you might have some drawer organizers or cabinet organizers that you want to use. And my great aunt always told me, have a place for everything and keep everything in its place. And then you don't have to worry about clutter. So here are the infamous kitchen cabinets that have those containers thrown in there, some with tops, some without tops. And then there's the organized kitchen containers. I think if you count, I don't know if you can count it, but each of those containers there has a top that matches it. So that's an idea. They've used some type of organizing mechanism that holds the tops and stacks the shelf so you can add the items in the kitchen and they look like they're organized. Whew, the clothes closet. Now that's an undertaking. And the only choice here is to keep it or not. So you want to have a giveaway, a garbage, a donate or consignment bin. And usually that's going to incorporate clothes, shoes, and accessories. So you might want to take a day, do your clothes, get rid of your clothes. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You might want to take a day, get rid of your shoes. Might want to take a day, go through your accessories, your scarves, your jewelry, your neckties, watches, guys. A lot of guys collect watches. A lot of them get cologne for Christmas and don't ever use it, or Father's Day. So you might want to go through those items and see which ones of those you want to keep and you don't want to keep. And some of the questions that you can ask yourself: does it fit? And that's the main question. When is the last time I actually wore this? Was this an impulse buy or something I got on sale and I never even wore it? Do I even like this piece? That's something I have to ask myself all the time. When I pull something out of the closet and look at it and haven't worn it, and this is like the second season, do I really even like this thing? Does it need mending? Is it worn out, torn, or raveling, or frayed? Now it's good to keep a couple of things that might be a little worn out to maybe wear in the yard, or to cut grass in or do housework in, or whatever. But you don't want to have a bunch of stuff that is no good really, but for that. So just keep a couple of outfits for doing those types of things, not a whole drawer full of torn up, worn out things for that purpose. So once you've cleared everything out or separated everything, you want to organize, and I call them the keeper items, the things that you want to keep and you know that you're going to use again. You can colorize those. Some people like to colorize them. Once I had a closet that was just all black clothes. So everything and I wear a lot of black. So everything that I had that was black went into that one closet. So I know whatever I needed that was black, I could go get that. Some people colorize everything in their closet based on their lights to darks, or however they want to do it. You can categorize your items. Then once you've done that, go on and hang them, fold them, and store them. This is my dream closet. I guess I'll have to keep on dreaming because I don't think I'm gonna make it there. So in the bathroom, that's something that's usually going to be a keeper trash as well. A lot of times we collect makeup. Some people don't use makeup maybe but for a special occasion, and they think they can hold on to it for years and use that same tube of lipstick or mascara. But no, a lot of times those things do have expiration dates, especially your mascara, because they recommend no more than 6 months usage of that. So you might want to go through those things and replenish them. Even though you're throwing it away, you're going to replace it with something that's actually usable. And then some makeup we don't use at all. People that collect a lot of different makeup products, we don't even know what we have sometimes. So sometimes you need to stop and just go through it and see what you like and what you don't like and get rid of what you don't. Medication, sometimes we hold on to a prescription that we got for our knee, and our knee hasn't bothered us in a couple of years, but this prescription was only for a year. So you need to maybe contact your health department to see how you can safely dispose of any medication. Our first aid kits, sometimes we need to stop and take a look at that because things in there might be out of date. And your Band-Aids sometimes dry out and you need to replenish those, because if you need a Band-Aid and it doesn't stick, it's not going to do you any good. So those are some things you might want to look at. Or you might need to get rid of the whole first aid kit and buy a new one. That's something to consider as well. Hair products and skin products, we get stuff. We try it out because somebody says it makes your hair curly and silky, and we'll put it in our hair and it won't do anything. But we'll put it under the cabinet just in case somebody comes and needs it. Maybe, I guess, I don't know what we're saving it for, but
it was expensive.
That's yeah, and it was expensive. That's why. Because if you have daughters, they tell you about all these different products that they use for this and use for that, and you need to get this and you need to get that. And you don't realize sometimes it's a process to using those type of things. You really don't have time to do it. You just need something that you can wash your hair and condition it and keep it moving. So those are things to consider. And the same thing with skin products. People recommend different types of skin products, but everybody can't use the same thing. So you have to really kind of determine what's for you when it comes to that. So just don't be buying stuff because people recommend it they've used it for themselves. And gadgets like foot tubs, curling irons that have shorts in it, and we put it back in the drawer like maybe it'll work when I have to use it to go to church Sunday or something like that. And we pull it back out and say, hey, this thing still doesn't work. And we'll go buy a new one, but we're gonna hold on to that one that doesn't work because that's gonna be our backup if something happens to the new one. Hair dryers that the teeth are broken out and it's really not doing anything but blowing your hair. So you'll go get a new one, but you're going to hold on to that other one because if the new one doesn't work, at least I can dry my hair with the one with the broken teeth in it. So things like that. And usually we really.
Tawandra, sorry, I just have to tell you, you are all in everybody's business right now. Somebody just said my toes are hurting because you're really stepping on them. You're just calling out all kinds of things that is so good and so true. Thank you, Tawandra.
We always are holding on to stuff. I don't understand it. If something breaks, my husband said, put it under there because I'm gonna fix it one day. Yeah, right. Things haven't gotten fixed yet. In your linen closets, after 20 years, you might want to go through those wedding gifts that you got that you're still using that are towels and washcloths and get yourself some new ones and get rid of those ones. You can save a few of them if you need them for car rags or dust cloths or something like that. But don't save all of them because you're trying to get rid of stuff. And yeah, replenish them with a few new ones. Don't, keep holding on to that old stuff. Shower curtains. I know I had probably 20 something shower curtains because every time I saw one, I would buy it, but I wouldn't get rid of the ones that I had because I thought I was going to use them again. So I went through all of those, and the ones I really liked, I held on to. The ones that were kind of like sometimes I would consider them, I got rid of them because I want to live my best life, and I want to use the things that I really like. Bed linens, sheets, blankets. You know, people give you throws for Christmas, and you hold on to them, and you don't need 10 throws, I don't think. But nonetheless, you feel bad because it was a Christmas gift and you held on to that throw and you don't even like cats. Come on now, get rid of it. No, there's no reason to really hold on to that. Some people, some people re-gift things. I don't see anything wrong with if you do know someone that likes cats and you want to give them that throw, you could just give it to them as long as they didn't give it to you. So remember where you get your gifts from. Basically. Comforters take up a great deal of space, and that and the shower curtains were my problem. I would buy comforters because I liked them. Now you can't really find a good comforter, so I've held on to, I had maybe like 16 comforters, so I've only held on to maybe, I say 6 or 7 of them, because what I do now is go on and change my comforters based on the season. So in the summer and spring, I'll put one on, then I'll change it for fall. So I didn't need all those comforters that I was holding on to. If you can find a good comforter out there now, let me know, because everything is polyfill and microfiber, and it doesn't last but one season. So if you find that that's happening, you probably are going to be purchasing a lot of comforters, but try to hold on only to the ones that you like, and then you won't be so cluttered when it comes to those. The same thing with draperies, 2 for each room, because there are, 2 seasons that you might want to change them. Accents pillows, oh gosh. The accent pillows go with the comforters, and you buy them to match them, but you don't get just 2 pillows, you might get 4. So they tend to take up a lot of space. So get rid of those excess comforters and accent pillows that you're not using, because all they do is take up space. And then your gadgets, again, we're back to the broken things. Your irons that has a short in it, and you're going to fix that cord, and you throw it in the closet and then buy a new one, and then that old iron is still in there. The same thing with steamers or heating pads, all of that kind of stuff that we hold on to, but it's broken. So what are we going to do? We don't even have time to do what we need to do in 24 hours. So I know we don't have time to fix broken electrical cords. And especially if we're not an electrician or anything like that, we're putting something together that we don't even know about with some electrical tape. So go on and get rid of it. So here are a before and after picture of a junky linen closet. And then there's a picture of a better organized linen closet. And then there's a picture of a linen closet that I liked how they use the wicker baskets to organize. So just some ideas of things that you could get to possibly make your life a little bit more organized. And when you open those doors to that closet and you see it so beautifully organized, you really think you've accomplished something. And you really have. Woo, the garage, the tool shed, and the basement. Those are the places that most of the people stored just junk. It's not anything that, we just holding on to stuff and it's taking up space. So again, consider getting rid of broken stuff, especially tools. If you can't fix them or you don't have time to repair them, just toss it and go get another one. My husband broke the handle off of a rake, and it was probably maybe 2 years old. And he's standing there trying to figure out how he's going to fix this rake. So he puts it back in the tool shed. And then he goes to not Tractor Supply, but one of those stores. I can't even think of the name of it. And comes home with a new rake. And then I said, oh, I'm going to throw this other one away. And he said, save that. I got to figure out a way to fix it. So those are the things that we do. We feel like we don't want to waste our money, I think, is the biggest thing. Any empty insecticide or other containers that we have, buckets, sometimes we'll have buckets stacked up in the garage and we don't even use them for anything. We just have them in there just in case somebody needs a bucket, I guess. I don't know. But nonetheless, we just need to get rid of things like that. Old flower pots that you haven't used. Sometimes I see flower pots sitting around with dirt in them, but no flowers. So I don't know what they're for. So we just probably need to get rid of those. Electrical cords are items that have cords that don't work. Again, that goes back to we think we're going to repair them, but we're not an electrician, so we probably don't need to bother with it. Old paint cans and old paint or broken furniture, broken outside toys, bikes that don't work, grills that are rusted out, all of that kind of stuff needs to go because all it's doing is causing you to hold on to clutter. So here's a picture of a junky space. It could be a garage or a tool shed or a basement. And the other picture shows how this person has actually built some shelves and used bins to reorganize that space. And doesn't that look much better? I think it does. Okay. So paper clutter. The important items are the things that people are most interested in. But when you think everything is important, then that's a problem. So here's some helpful items. Your income tax information, you want to hold on to that for 7 years. Any IRAs or investment information, 7 years again. Monthly invoices or statement, you usually want to keep that until the next bill comes, and you want to compare those two bills. And if you see that the last bill is correct, go on and get rid of the previous month's bill. Bank statements and canceled checks. If anyone's still using checks, hold on to those for a year. Any credit card receipts for any significant purchases, then that means maybe a washer, dryer, anything that has a warranty that's associated with it. Hold on to it hold the receipt for a year or for the life of the warranty. Any warranties, once they have expired, you can discard them because if one is needed, you'll probably get an extended warranty and that'll update the expired one. Medical information, usually for that insurance year, or if you have a bill that you're making payments on, you want to hold on to that particular bill until it's paid off, and then you're going to keep your zero balance invoice. Okay. Employment information, we'll hold on to that information as it's updated, such as promotions or retirement information or any significant milestones that you've crossed. You might want to hold on to those types of things. But every thank you note that's been sent to you over your career, I don't know, you might want to try to sort through those and go by decade, maybe hold one from each decade. I don't know. But nonetheless, those are some things that clutter your spaces. Now, home ownership information, whether you're buying or selling, you might want to hold on to that indefinitely. Your closing papers, that's usually in a bonded book, those things you want to probably hold on to, because if you pass your house on to one of your relatives or they inherited or something like that, or something you've inherited, you want to know the history of that. So you want to hold on to that type of stuff. Junk mail. What I do is I come and stand in front of the trash can. And when I get junk mail, like right now, we're getting a lot of campaign stuff. I'll throw that in the trash right there. If you're getting any credit card offers or any sensitive information that has your personal information on it, you want to shred that information. But those credit card offers, you want to shred those right away. You don't want to keep holding on to those because they shouldn't be with your important mail. So you need to separate that and go on and get rid of those then and there. If you want those things to stop coming to you, you can call 888-5-OPT-OUT, which is 567-8688, to stop the credit bureaus from providing your name and approved credit offers to other organizations. Or you can go to optoutcdt.org. And they will help you with other companies that have been selling your names to other organizations. You can get rid of some of that stuff that way. Paper clutter, again, magazines and catalogs. If you are donating magazines to specific organizations or nursing homes or things of that nature, you want to remove your address before you donate it, and check with the organization, because since COVID has been upon us, a lot of those people that were taking those types of things aren't taking them right now. So you might want to check with the organization before you attempt to donate those things to them. You can contact the companies if you're receiving catalogs that you don't want, and let them know to stop sending those to you. Now, the obituaries, we're back to that again. My mom asked me to help her organize some obituaries. So I saw stuff that she had gone to a friend of a friend's funeral, and she had an obituary from that. So what I had told her she needed to do is to pull those that were pertinent to our family history first. So I gave her a notebook with the clear page covers, and we started that book that had her father and her mother's family in it. And we put all of the brothers and sisters who were her aunts and uncles in there. And then it came down to her brothers and sisters and to us. So that's one notebook for that. And then she has another notebook for special friends or folks like that. So I told her to start putting them in there, and just get rid of all of those other ones. So she was down with that. She went on and sorted through them, and we did that. So she went from 2 drawers full of obituaries, 2 dresser drawers almost, I guess you could say, to 2 notebooks full of obituaries that were actually essential to her family history and things of that nature. Okay. Newspaper, only save or file the important or monumental articles. Don't keep the whole newspaper section that article was in. Cut out what you need, and you could do the same thing that we did with the obituaries. Just start keeping them in some form of a notebook or something like that. Or you might want to hold on to a little bit of newspaper in case you are doing a craft project, or we always are searching for newspaper during crab season. So we'll have some newspaper for crabs outside. So just hold on to a little bit of newspaper. Don't keep a lot of it. And this is an example of some types of home filing systems you can use. Some of your more decorative systems include your covered bins with tops. Also, you can use wicker products. You see that bin there that has the attached top. So that's a filing system. Make sure that you get some folders and use the filing tags that can help organize those either hanging folders or the tab top folders that you might want to use. And if you have things that need to be more secure, you might need to use a locked cabinet for those. Or if you have a lock box in your home, or for really special stuff, your box with the bank probably would be more appropriate. Ways to contain and organize your items. For clothing, you probably want to use bins, hangers, your drawers, and you want to fold and store things. Now, if you want to get creative and you want to coordinate everything like I like to do, you can get your matching bins and hangers and kind of coordinate things that way in your closet. For paper items, you want to use a file and folder system, some type that is organized so you know where everything is. Or you might want to use a file drawer system, which does the same thing. For miscellaneous items, I choose to use clear bins because I don't want to be pulling down stuff and opening a bunch of bins trying to see what's in there. So for items that I'm storing like in the attic or in the garage or in the tool shed, I'll use the clear bins. But for more decorative places in the house, I usually use fabric bins or cubbies because I already kind of know what's in those, or decorative basket or metal or wire baskets. where to find storage containers. And what I try to do here is kind of list them, start with your most inexpensive to maybe some of your more expensive organized or storage items for your home. Dollar Tree and Dollar General are great. Family Dollar, Rose's, Ross, Gabe's, Big Lots, Walmart. And then as you get a little bit more expensive, you start with Target, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Burlington, and usually Lowe's and Home Depot are the most expensive for bins when you want the plastic covered bins. You might want to check with Rose's or sometimes Dollar General and Family Dollar have some that you could use that are a little bit less expensive than Home Depot and Lowe's. And online, Amazon has some good products, and also Walmart online has some good products. So I was getting ready to tell Bethany and Crystal before we started. One Friday, I came in from the garage and I opened the door and I saw all of this stuff all over the place. I said, shoot, we got to get this stuff organized. So that next Saturday morning, I went running around to all of these places. I might have gone to everything on this list really, trying to find the least expensive way to organize stuff. So I ended up with the laundry room that you see here. I got those 2 black bins that you see on top of the washer because when I wash clothes and I pull my things out and I fold them and put them away, my husband's things are left. So his is one basket for dark clothes, one basket for light clothes light clothes, until he gets the chance to fold them and put them away. And then at the top, I found those 2 galvanized bins, which are actually drink holders for outside on the patio. So I put my laundry detergent and toilet paper and paper towels in there because I didn't want to see any of that kind of stuff. And in the middle bin, I usually put the iron and starch and everything in there. So you have to come up with a formula that fits your life. And I got those hangers in there because a lot of stuff I hang up after it comes out of the washer. And then I went on and got some signs and put those in there, kind of made it like a fun place, and some mirrors on the wall and kind of decorated it a little bit. So now when I come in there and I can smell the detergent and everything and the softener, it smells so fresh when I come in there and it looks good. So I feel happy about that room. And also I sent the pictures to my sister-in-law. I said, oh, look what I did last weekend. She said, oh my God, let me send you a picture of my laundry room. She sent me a picture. I said, oh, just go through that stuff. Take your time, sort it. And this was like 10 o'clock in the morning. And then just get you some bins and put everything in bins. So by, I think 7 o'clock that night, she had gone through there, sorted everything. That next morning, she went to Family Dollar and Dollar General and got her bins. And then she sent me the picture of, I should have posted those, the picture afterwards. And it was like, I can't believe you encouraged me to do this. And I hadn't planned to do any of this weekend, but she ended up organizing her life and I was glad. So do you have any questions?
Sandra, I'm
Yes.
sure there's questions, but oh my goodness, we're at 10:39, so I'm gonna have to get us to wrap. One big question, and I think you may have answered it, was around like the shredding piece, and a question around like the mail. Is it safe to recycle your mail with your address on it, or not the stuff that needs to be shredded, but the stuff that you're tossing?
The things that are credit card offers and the offers that you get maybe from a car dealership that say you're approved for $30,000, you might want to go on and shred those. You don't want to just put those back in the trash, those types of things, but your political things that you're getting for campaigns and stuff like that, I mean, I would just throw that in the trash. I don't think there's any problem with that type of stuff. But anything where someone can gain your identity to benefit any type of fraud for themselves, I shred it.
Yeah, you do shred it. So it's okay. And so if you wanted to recycle rather than toss, you could do that too.
Right, but if you shred it and recycle it, that's fine. But you don't want to toss that as a recycle item. You want to shred that first before you recycle it.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, you all know if you've been on before, I usually issue an encouraging charge for what we're going to do. So I see people already posting. If you
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
you already know what you're gonna do, drop that in the chat. Tell us where you're starting. I don't know where I'm gonna start. I have lots of areas that I need to go to, but I really do appreciate that laundry piece because that's an area, laundry, paper, and the clothes in my closet. I think I'm gonna go with the clothes in my closet because I tried the Marie Kondo method, pulled everything out, laid it on the bed, was like, I'm gonna put back in what brings me joy and the others I'm gonna get rid of. And I got interrupted and the day got behind me and it got so late and I got so tired, all of it got moved onto a desk. And then my husband came behind me because he got tired of seeing it on the desk and put it in bags. And so I have to have a do-over. So next weekend, that's my do-over. This weekend,
Yeah.
I'm celebrating my baby's birthday. But yeah, so if you know where you're going, go for it. I see sheds and gardening and laundry. We will send all of the slides out to you. And Twandra, if you want to add those before and after photos where you've encouraged your sister.
Oh, okay, I'll do that.
We would love to see that too. Everybody who's been on, Herman, Bethany, thank you as always. For everyone who's here, thank you all. It's always fun and great nuggets and great encouragement. And I appreciate, Twandra, one more thing that you said, and that was what I heard you say was like encouraging one another. Right. So when you were doing that and you shared that out, you just said, yeah, start here and do this and gave that encouragement. And I think that's so important too. We are in this together, everybody.
Just remember, there's a place for everything and keep everything in its place and you won't spend all day looking for it.
That's a great nugget. I love that nugget.
Thank you, Twandra.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm going into the weekend encouraged.
Yeah, you know what? Something else you might want to think of. It's a good rainy day project. If you can't go outside or a bad weather day, those are some of the best days to get these accomplished.
Love that.
And my African friends told me that those old things weigh your spirit down.
That's true.
Let those things, you need to get those things out of your house from under your bed, all around the room, get them out and so your spirit can flourish.
Right, under my bed didn't even come to, I don't keep anything under the bed, but I know people that do. So that's something I'm gonna add to this because again, that goes back to health and upper respiratory safety. Yep. With the dust and stuff that comes from collecting under your bed on those items.
So true, so true.
Yeah, thank you all. Was good. I told you, I thought that
this is so good.
Thought I condensed it, but gosh, it did go.
It goes fast as always. So thanks everyone. Happy decluttering, spring cleaning, organizing this weekend. We will see you next Friday, same place, same time, different topic. Have a great weekend, all.
Thank you all. Take care. Be safe.
Great.